Hi everyone, it's Terry here with my first process video for Peartree Cutfiles using this beautiful Large Floral Tags file. So I've cut it from a piece of patterned paper. This is the B side and it's kind of a small yellow pattern to it, so you can't really see much of the pattern from the thin cut file. So I'm just adding gesso now to the flowers so that it gives me a base to be able to paint on later once it's dried. So you'll see the two patterned papers to the left hand side of me, and they're what I'm using as a base for my colour, and they'll be the main focus of the layout when I create it. So you can see I've got like a pink, an orange, a yellow and like a blue colour, all to match the florals and the colours on the papers to the left of me. I've not gone with true to life colours. As you can see, I'm going with the blue leaves to coordinate with the florals on the patterned paper that I'm going to be using as part of my layout. So I'm using Shimmer's paints. I really like how they give a shimmery finish and they're easy to use. I think this yellow, I think it's Bumblebee it's called, is one of my favourite. And orange is not a colour that I would normally choose in my layouts, but these pattern papers from Hip Kit I've quite a lot in, so I'm embracing it. So you can just see I'm distressing the edges of a piece of white cardstock that I've trimmed down, and I'm adding it to that piece of patterned paper that I actually cut the tags from. And then I've just added some staples with my tiny attacher. I'm backing my cut file with patterned paper. It's quite an easy cut file to back, it's just tag shaped obviously, so it's not too difficult. I simply draw around it and cut it out and then stick it to the back. So I'm just using a wet glue, this is Tombow. I just find it easier to use. It's got a small nozzle and I've got pretty good at just putting a few bits of glue on rather than getting too much on there. So I'm just trimming off a bit of excess, and now I look at my layout with the tags on, and I think that I'm not keen on the florals because they don't pop off of the page, off the patterned paper, sorry, behind them. So I'm just drawing around with an outline of black pen, just so that you can see them clearer when you look at the cut file. So I'm just using a Uniball Eye black ink pen, and it is waterproof once it's dry. It's one of my favourite pens for journaling and doodling with. So now I'm adding it to my background. So to tie in my background with my cut file, I'm just adding a scribbly border to the white cardstock, and it just ties it all together. So that patterned paper I've cut out from before, and I'm just fussy cutting all the flowers out. So I won't make you sit through all this, I will magically be back shortly with them all cut out. So now I've got them all cut out, I'm just sticking my cut file straight flat to the page. I've got my photo, which I have actually matted on some more patterned paper and distressed the edges. So I pop that up on some foam, and then I'm just going to spend a bit of time tucking in these fussy cut florals in and around my layout. I spend ages tucking them in and out, trying to decide which ones to use, which ones not to use. I'm not using a bold title as such. I've pulled out these two chipboard words phrases from the Hip Kit Club kit this month, and so they coordinate with the papers and the florals. So I've just added the Be Happy on foam, and now I'm sticking everything down. So I'm still not fully decided on where all the florals are going, and I spend more time moving them around. One thing I do like to do with florals is I'll stick the stems or flat to the page, and then the actual flowers I'll pop up on foam. And you'll see that I've done that with a lot of the pieces that have been tucked behind the cut file as well. So there's not actually a lot of extra embellishment that I've had to buy as special die cuts or anything like that on this page. It's simply some fussy cut florals, a couple of chipboard phrases, and some enamel dots that were in my stash. Now these wooden buttons have been in my stash for ages. They're from an older Dear Lizzie collection, so I'm really glad to be using them up. And you'll just see me adding a couple of hearts and then some journaling. I do like to add the date as well. So this is pretty much my layout finished. I think I just add some gold splatter. Yeah, here we go, which is something I tend to do on a lot of my layouts. Thank you for joining me, and head over to the Peartree Cutfiles group for more inspiration.